Good morning, everybody. It is day 3 of our at-home learning, and I wanted to go over everything that you should have done already this week and then what's due today. All right, so in reading, I'm getting a cat down. In reading, you should have done, you should have read your world up close and you should have read it twice, okay? And also answered all of the questions on the side. So for some of you who are confused, it's these questions, right? It's these ones on the side here that we do when we read and reread. If you look, they'll have little notes that say like read, and then they'll have little notes that say reread on top of them. So if it says read in red, you're supposed to answer that when you read it the first time. And if it says reread in green, you're supposed to reread that. You're supposed to answer that when you reread it the second time. A lot of times those green ones are like conversations, like talk to someone. So since you don't necessarily have anybody to talk to, just like have a pretend conversation in the air, or send me a little note with what you would have said, okay? So you should have read pages 2 and 3, 4 and 5 in your Reader Writer Companion and answered all of the questions on the side. Then you were asked, we did the vocabulary words together. I think it seems like a lifetime ago, but I think we did this together before we left. And we talked about antonyms. So then you should have answered the questions on page 8. The first one says to summarize, and you were supposed to go back and reread page 5 and summarize. So when we look at page 5, right? When we look at page 5, if I was going to summarize that, I would say the main ideas are scientists use electron micrographs to see how objects change. Microscopes show this far earlier than our eyes, talking about the decaying of the fruit. What would our skin look magnified, and the possibilities are endless if you're examining your world up close. So those are the things I would have said were the key details. And then the summary of that passage would have been something like, the world is full of interesting things that we can see more clearly with a microscope, and that it might be beneficial to take time out to look more closely at your world to see those things, or something like that, right? A microscope can make our world a lot clearer. We can see the fine details. So many things are out there in the world for us to see if we take the time to notice it. It needed to be a summary about the whole page. Some of you made summaries about just the fruit. Some of you made summaries about just the microscope on your skin. It needed to be, remember, it's for the whole page, so you need to summarize that whole page. So you need to talk about how microscopes make things clearer. The world is full of things that we might get to see if we use that microscope. Okay, so that was your summary page. Your sequence page, photographs and captions. We've talked about photographs and captions 1,000 times. If it says find and list 2 text features, you should have found an inset, those pictures that set off to the side. You should have seen a caption. You should have seen a photo. There's like a little text box with that word summary in it. There are highlighted words. All of those things that we've talked about before count as text features. Any 2 would have worked. Why does the author give you those? To help organize that information and make it clearer for you. So those pictures give you a really good example of how microscopes work, and you get to see those pictures through the microscope. All right. The next page was sequence. So sequence is how this text is actually organized. So this is our text structure. We've organized this structure through sequence by saying this comes first, then this, then this. They give you an example about the fruit looking fresh, then it doesn't look so good, and then it's not good, right? And then they wanted you to do the same thing on page 3. And what that should have looked like, and I kind of messed mine up, but what it should have kind of looked like is you should have said, hey, the first photograph images happened in 1840. In 1852, the first version of a camera that took photo micrographs happened. In 1882, the camera with a built-in microscope was used. And then today, we have electron micrographs. I skipped a square, so I had to add one at the bottom. But the 4 things you should have mentioned were 1840, 1852, 1882, and then today. And that's how sequence works, right? Things going in events. So first, second, third, or by dates. The 17th, the 18th, the 19th, right? So think about the days that you have been home. What did you do on the 16th? What did you do on the 17th? What did you do on the 18th? That's sequence, having it go in order. So, and then the last thing that you were supposed to do was to talk about how the author uses text structure and text features to help you understand. And that's what we just talked about, right? Text structure is that putting things chronologically or in order. So they use sequence. So this happened, then this happened, then this happened. It gives you that passing of time and you can see how things have changed. And then the author gives you actual microscopic pictures so you can see the difference between what something looks like without a microscope and then what something looks like with a microscope, all to help you understand. That's what we should have been doing in reading this week. You should have had all those questions answered. Today, all you need to do in reading is work on page 13, which is reading a diagram. Read that, and if you want to make a diagram for extra credit and send a picture to me, that would be great. And you need to read A Little Drop of Water, which is in your reading anthology. So you just need to read that one time and look at that reading diagram. And we will go on with pages 14 and 15 next week after you reread A Drop of Water. But for today, you're just reading A Drop of Water and looking at page 13. That's it for reading. Okay, so that moves us on to math. In math, we should have already done, let me see if I can flip this for you. You should have done 7.1, which was, that's the math box, so that's not going to help us. 7.1, which is converting using quarts, pints, our big Q, right? So using our big Q, PP, and the cup, right? And you did a couple activities with that. Lesson 2, we did some multiplying with fractions, right? So how many, if we needed 2.5 teaspoons, what's 2 times a half, right? And then we did some multiplying with unit fractions. And then we did the walking club where we multiplied like people through the fractions. We did some number stories using that same thing. Then we did a multiple step division number stories where you're just using the number stories to find that information. You should be able to get all of this just by looking through your journal. On page, we did number patterns, right? Figuring out those patterns and what comes next. We've done, again, looking at a chart and figuring out like who did more, if this person did 5, if they like did it, they burned like a 6 calorie and they went for 5 hours, and this person burnt a 1/10 of a calorie and they went for 10, who burned more. Then you did that shopping page that I know some of you were confused about, but because you had to use that extra paper. And then yesterday you measured to the 1/8 inch. So all of that's going to be on the test today. So today you actually need to go on to Connect Ed and take that assessment. It's the Unit 7 assessment. And then submit that to me. If you are like, I really want to do it paper pencil, Hunter, I see you. If you really want to do it paper pencil, then do it paper pencil, but you're going to have to submit every page to me so that I can grade it, and it has to be a clear enough photo that I can see your answers. So I suggest just doing it on Connect Ed because it will automatically submit it. So that's math for the day. You should also still be working on your Road to Revolution posters. Those are actually due today. You could have, if some of you sent me a thing that said, hey, I don't remember how to do it, it was posted on the Google Classroom. There is an actual worksheet there that gives you all the steps and everything that you're supposed to be doing. A couple of you said, hey, I can't print off pictures. You don't have to print off pictures. You can be drawing the pictures instead and just putting those hand-drawn on your poster, right? So the thing is to just know the major events that led up to the American Revolution, the Stamp Act, the Sugar Act, the Townshend Act, the Quartering Act, the Boston Massacre, the Boston Tea Party, those things that are going to lead us up to the actual American Revolution. And that is social studies. In writing, you should have given me a topic that you want to do an explanatory essay on. So an explanatory essay is something where you're really trying to figure out how something works and explain it to somebody else. So it's not a sequence. So it's not like, hey, I want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and I'm going to tell you how to do that. that's not what this is. This is more like, hey, I want to know how my car engine works. So I'm going to research car engines and I'm going to write an essay explaining how the combustion system of a car works. If you can do that, that would be great, because I don't know how that works at all. And all I need from that is I need your topic. So I need to know what you're actually planning on writing next week. We're going to start doing our graphic organizers for those next week, so you need to have a topic in mind. And I think that that's it for the rest of this week. Tomorrow we will go back over, well, tomorrow we'll do the next step on every drop of water. So not for this week, I misspoke. That's it for today. We still have tomorrow. Our days are getting a little confusing. But tomorrow we'll do more with a little drop of water. I will grade those math tests and get them back to you. I'm trying to figure out what the best way for you to be able to make revisions to those are. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that would look like. I'll get back to you as soon as I do. And we will, those revolutionary posters aren't due today. I think I might have said that. They're actually due tomorrow. Everything I've posted for the week, absolutely everything, is not due until Friday. It's at 8 o'clock. So that gives you the whole week based off of what your schedule is to get things turned in. So if by tomorrow at 8 p.m. it's not turned in, it's going to be late for the week. But no matter if I posted it on Monday or if I posted it on Friday, you have until Friday at 8 p.m. to get it turned in. All right. Use those phones. There's a phone number that I sent out to your parents. If you want to call me and ask a question, Tinley called me yesterday. It was good to talk to her. Otherwise, you can still be getting to me through Google. You can be sending me emails. Any way that you can think to reach out, I will try to get back to you as quickly as possible. I miss you all. I hope you're having a great break. You're staying safe. It's very foggy this morning, so we probably would have had a fog delay. So maybe you're taking a little fog delay at home. I'm glad to see you guys talking to each other. Tomorrow I am going to try to have us play a game of Kahoot. They'll set up a time that we can all get on together. Anybody that's available that wants to get on, I'm thinking of doing that around 2:30. So around 2:30 tomorrow, I'm going to try to get on and send out a Kahoot code. And if anybody's on there and wants to play, go ahead and get on. It'll give us a way to kind of play. It'll be a fun Kahoot. It won't be anything super academic, right? All right, so if you have any questions, any comments, let me know. Today, you're reading A Drop of Water and you're doing the page on diagrams. You're taking a math test and you're working on your American Revolutionary poster, and you're telling me what topic you needed to do. You're going to research for an explanatory essay. All right, you can also be watching the read alouds on Harry Potter, and you can be doing anything on Tinker that's just for fun. It's to learn to code. All right, I hope you have a great day. Get in touch with me if you need any help.